what is your daily activity like? I mean, what are you able to do for someone who is used to being outside a lot this time of year? How are you still maintaining that ability?
I've been trying to keep a pretty decent schedule, like wake up around like eight or nine every single day, and then do some classwork, eat some lunch, and then if it's nice out, I'll go for a walk with my mom, usually in like mid afternoon for a study break. Finish some things up, eat dinner, and then I'll work out after. So a lot of just bettering myself, kind of focus on self care and stuff like that. There's not much we can do in my area because it has hit so hard. So we have like all we're allowed to really do is walk around our area, like our neighborhood. A lot of things are closed, like we can't even go to parks or anything like that. So it's kind of a lot of things inside the house and keeping myself busy.
Explain a little bit to us what you mean by the area being hard hit per se, because there are people that are watching slash listening to this that are in areas where it's not that bad. I mean, even in Lynchburg, there's only a handful of cases. So those of us that are still here don't really understand it on an intimate level. So if you don't mind illuminating us a little bit more on that.
So I'm from New Jersey. I live in Bergen County, which is the county right next to New York City. So I live 15 minutes away from the George Washington Bridge. So a lot of people in our area work in the city and then they come home and live here. My county has more cases than 38 states do. So we've been hit really hard. We have 20 people in our town. One of our friends had it. So it's just kind of hitting more home than other places. I know I was kidding around with Coach Smith when we were down at school still during spring break saying like, I don't want to go home. Like it's worse there than it is at school. But the first day I came back, everything was still open. And then within that next week, pretty much everything got shut down. We're not allowed to travel. We can't do anything. Like I said, all the parks are kind of closed. So it's just been kind of strange, like going to a grocery store is just like such a process. I can say I haven't left the house other than to go for walks in probably 2 or 3 weeks. So it's a crazy time. Going to a grocery store is crazy. You only allow so many people in at a time. Only one person's allowed down an aisle at a time too. So it's just kind of a different whole situation with so many people having it around here. Having to be more aware of like touching things, like I don't even go out to touch one thing or whatnot. So it's kind of a different lifestyle. I never thought that this would ever really affect me as much as it has.
Before we get into more of that conversation, I want to go back a little bit to the time in which you guys found out that the weekend that at least for the rest of March things would be postponed, but still wasn't quite sure about the rest of the year. And then, of course, when that decision came through, can you talk me through your perspective as a senior and how not just you handled it, but maybe even how you helped other people on your team handle it?
Yeah, it was a really weird day because throughout the week, we heard people were kind of like shutting down, that Randolph was closing down for a week. So there was always that possibility of something happening, but we didn't hear anything yet. So we were kind of optimistic about the whole situation. We went to lifting that morning. I believe it was a Thursday. And then we had our afternoon practice and we knew kind of something was up because there's like whispering kind of in between the coaches. And then coach got a phone call from John Waters and she pulled us all together in the middle of practice and said that we were no longer to play that weekend like we were planned to, and that we had to leave the next day to go home. So she asked us if we wanted to finish practice or not. And of course, as a senior, like you're kind of shocked at that point because you didn't think it was going to happen. There was always a chance, but you just didn't want to believe it. And so it was just kind of a weird practice. Like we finished up, we all like played a scrimmage and stuff. So it was just kind of funny. Like all the seniors would look at each other and like you could see that we'd start to get emotional and then we'd be like, no, look away, look away. So it was just kind of a really weird day. I don't know how to even like express it, but you're just standing out there in like the outfield or your position and you're just kind of taking it all in. Not knowing if that would be the last time being there, not because we were just kind of postponed. And I gotta say that was probably the best thing. A lot of other schools just kind of canceled their season, and I couldn't imagine just being like, we're not even going to attempt to continue. But so it was nice to always have that, like maybe the possibility. But once school was canceled. We all knew that sports were canceled too, so that was kind of hard. So I don't know. It was kind of a really weird up and down roller coaster of emotions because you didn't want to believe it, and I don't think it still has hit me completely. I think I'm still going back in the fall, and everything's going to be fine, but that's sadly not going to happen. So,
in addition to the challenges, I am also curious, what are you doing to spread a message of positivity, or even just awareness, because you are in such a place that's been hard hit by this. How are you taking what is really easy to get bogged down by the negativities, and trying to make things more positive for you and your family that's there, but also maybe others that you know?
Yeah, I think spending a lot of time with my family kind of helps open our eyes that we've been doing stuff that we've never really done before, like playing board games and stuff like that, stuff my family doesn't really do. So kind of just staying positive within all that. And then we have our team meeting, like Google Hangouts that we do every Tuesdays. So just being able to see everyone's faces and kind of getting their positivity kind of helps me out as well. But in that meeting last week, this past Tuesday, I kind of wanted to say something to everyone, like, it hasn't hit so hard down in Virginia, like you said, yet, and it hasn't peaked. We've peaked pretty much here. So pretty much just kind of saying, like, be smart. I know you want to go hang out with your friends and you want to go do stuff, or you want to go out and do things, but it's probably better just to stay at home. Don't go through what we had to go through. It's not a good time. Like, you start to run out of things to do, start to go a little insane. So just trying to reach out to them and say, as like a personal level, just trust me in what I've been through, and to kind of social distance and keep practicing that until they say it's okay not to.
Well, before we let you go, because you're so busy and you have so many things to do, I am interested when we talk to our current students, what the classroom setup is. So if you don't mind showing us, like, where you operate now that you're not in a traditional classroom.
So this is my my office space that we got in my house. So we got a desk over here. I got a fancy little desk over here all set up with my printer. Got some window views of my backyard. Yeah, so I can kind of, my dad's working in the basement, so I overtook the office, and I come in here for a few hours a day.
I got to admit, that looks better than most people's setups on campus. So you got it made there.
Yes, even better than my campus setup. So.
Well, Carol, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today, and really shed light on, there are different geographical areas that are affected differently, and everything that you're doing to help your teammates out as well. I mean, certainly everyone's role has changed during all of this. So thank you for being able to show us that you're malleable and flexible, and you're able to roll with the punches. And don't worry, I'm speaking for everyone because I'm pretty much here by myself, but man, it sucks. It really, really sucks not having some games to cover, but no matter what, keep your head up and keep pushing that positivity. Thank you.
Thank you.